Hello, my name is Caleb Smith with the Rocket Miner newspaper, here with an update for August 19th, 2020. Starting with the legal system today, there was a change of plea in court today regarding a case that featured um, vehicle theft and police chase and crashing conclusion. Rock Springs resident Garrett Mathau, 29, entered a change of plea to charges related to um, previously mentioned chaos back on October 29th, 2019. Appearing in a video hearing before Judge Susanna Robinson this Wednesday in Sweetwater County District Court, Mayhew pleaded guilty to a felony count of theft and a felony count of destruction of property, as well as a misdemeanor charge of driving under the influence. And as part of a plea agreement, additional charges were dismissed, or will be dismissed. Back on the evening of October 29th, 2019, members of the Rock Springs Police Department responding to a report of a stolen vehicle and went to the parking lot at Walmart where the missing vehicle was located. And said upon their arrival, Mr. Mayhew quickly fled the scene. He was given an opportunity to explain what had happened in his own words this Wednesday. And Mayhew told the judge that on that night, he was walking near Jimmy John's when he got in and stole a Volkswagen that he noticed had been unlocked and was running. He said that the chase with law enforcement began when he noticed a police officer behind him at the parking lot, and that the chase ended when he crashed into another vehicle. He said that at the time he was under the influence of both methamphetamine and alcohol to a degree where he could not drive safely. Switching to Western Wyoming Community College, we're about to start a new semester. And while there's many things to be excited about, there are some changes that are a bit more regrettable. Specifically, the college announced that it's going to eliminate some jobs and some degree pathways in the coming days. The school notes that employees were given notice of this on Monday, August 7th, citing difficulties related to state budget cuts, declining enrollment, and this and other impacts of the coronavirus. I'm quoting from Western President, Dr. Kim Dale. She said, "As a new president, this was not how I wanted to start our journey. I'm keenly aware there are people attached to these decisions. I've asked our Western family for compassion and understanding during this transition." The press release goes on to note that the majority of the college's budget goes to salary and benefits. And as they put it, the only meaningful way to cut expenses is a reduction in the workforce. This is something that we've heard both on the record and off the record discussions about this possibility back in July. Prior to the College Board approving its 2020-2021 budget, during a workshop, there was discussion about the potential eventuality of furloughs, if not layoffs at the college. Many local budgets, local governments, city level, county level, dealing with quite a crunch caused by lack of revenue, primarily for the reasons we've already stated. And honestly, we're expecting that this trend is going to continue for a while, that funding is going to be down. Funding from the state, funding from tax collection, money from that we have so long enjoyed from the energy industry. And it's tightening of the belt is going to be required. And it's always horrible and regretful when people are put in a position where they have to say goodbye to a job they love, a position that they that they really enjoyed. Great coworkers, great opportunities, a good community. We're hopeful that people find new, welcoming places soon. When it comes to eliminating jobs, the college press release noted that they went with this choice as opposed to furloughs or temporary salary cuts. They said that they took this tact so that they can implement a sustainable plan during the current crisis and continue into the future. And part of their overall goals are to streamline the college structure and resolve areas of inefficiency with a focus on boosting enrollment. The last topic I'd like to touch on today would be the primary election. And I just want to say, if you're one of those people who cast a ballot, whether it was in person yesterday, whether you put it in the mail, whether you took the time to go down to the courthouse, and whether it was putting it in one of the ballot collection boxes or marching all the way up the steps to the county clerk's office so he could hand it over in person, good job. According to results, we had about not quite 8,000 ballots cast yesterday. About 3,400 of those were absentee ballots, which the county noted that normally it's about 1,800, so not quite double than usual. And with about 8,000 figure, that means it was almost half of the ballots were cast outside of the in-person elections. So that's not to say that wasn't still popular. About a little bit more than 4,000 people cast their ballots there as well. There was some changes in the way that the results were delivered. They tried a new system where the results were put on thumb drives that had to be physically delivered to the Sweetwater County Courthouse. And that's one reason why the results were, I'd say, about 2 hours later than usual, give or take. In addition, there were statewide races, so there's plenty to be keeping an eye on. This year, I heard both at the courthouse last night and kind of in general, I've heard how more than one person noted how it seemed to be kind of not quite as packed a field as it sometimes is. There were many cases where people ran unopposed, or there were just a handful of people running, and just it was small enough so that everybody gets to advance to the general election. There were some cases that got narrowed somewhat, such as the Republican field for Sweetwater County Commission. Mary Thoman and incumbent Commissioner Lauren Schoenfeld topped the list, and so they'll advance on to the general election, where they'll face Democrats Joe Barbuto and Dave Gray. Commissioner Wally Johnson and forgive my brain, and Mark Peterson finished third and fourth in Republican field, and that means that they won't advance, and Wally Johnson's, who served a great many years on the commission, his term will conclude in the new year. Ward 4 on the Rock Springs City Council is another seat that also saw good competition with 4 people on the ballot. Brent Batolo and Rose Mosby finished on top. Larry Elder and R.J. Pieper, who followed, won't be continuing on. And another race, it's where, and this was another 4-way race. Excuse me, 3-way race. In State House District 18, it looks like Republican Scott Heiner will clinch his party's nomination for the general election. It looks like, according to unofficial results, he finished just ahead of incumbent Representative Thomas Crank. And it's one of those races where you have to look at the expanded results, because House District 18 includes Lincoln, Sweetwater, and Teton counties. We have plenty more results online at rocketminer.com. We have a little bit of our analysis, plus if you're interested, you can also look at the original source documents. I indicated at the start, but I just want to say it again that I'm glad the people who spent the time to vote. Often the primary elections aren't as well attended as the general election. And the fact that it looks like a majority of those who are registered to vote participated yesterday. If you ask me on any given day, I'm generally proud of Sweetwater County, but it was days like yesterday that made me just a little bit more proud and quick to say, yes, we have good people. This is a good place, and it's a active, vibrant, plugged-in community. And the election is a chance for people to up their game and help shape what direction we're going, what decisions we're going to have to make as we continue ahead. I'm hopeful that come November, that the number of people who are registered to vote and the number of people who actually cast ballot increase. I'm hopeful that everybody who's legally able to cast a vote does so. It's something that it's easy to take for granted. When I went this is the time of year, election season, when I look back in college, and I lived in one of the communities that was specifically designated for international students. So we had there were a great number of American born kids there. There were people from other countries that brought some interesting perspectives in. And it's interesting to talk to people about how what the American process is and what you can do. And that's great to talk about. And then sometimes it's a little bit humbling to talk about the other stuff, so you have this great democratic system and everybody has a chance to vote? Yes, we do. But not everybody votes? No. There's no consequences. You don't get in trouble for voting or speaking up. No, not really. And so why wouldn't you? And even to this day, I just sometimes don't have the answers for why people don't do so. Especially with absentee voting, you can cast your ballot in advance, and you don't have to worry about taking time off for work, or Tuesdays are just crazy busy. It's one of those things that it reminded me to back then and today to count a few more blessings and to try to take advantage of these opportunities where I can. We have some great American gifts that not everybody enjoys. And I think taking advantage of them is one of the better ways that we have to show our thankfulness. And like I said, just be a little bit more invested and active in our community. So great job, Sweetwater County. Let's do this again for the general election. This is Caleb Smith with the Rocket Miner newspaper, wishing you a good day and a safe tomorrow.